Sepp van den Berg plays the ball back into the bright luminous yellow of Queethan Kelleher midway inside of his own half. An excellent start for the Bees, and the bright sunshine now coming into full force here in West London. This ground that they've made a really tricky place to navigate for visiting sides. Lots of big names scalped here, and teams with fine away records also struggling, like Everton are as well, as the ball has been switched to Coyote, who can't quite keep the ball alive from going out of play. Goes out for an Everton throw-in, level with the edge of their own penalty area. And well, there was a game last night, West Ham winning 4-0 at home against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and their fight for survival giving them a real boost. Arsenal falling to a 2-1 defeat at home to Bournemouth earlier on in the early kick-off. And well, with City playing Chelsea tomorrow, and with 2 games in hand as it stands, and with that big one next week, the title race is really anything but over. Brentford, excellent slide down to stop that ball threaded between the Everton defensive line. A number of these players coming back from international duties over the break, many of which fell to defeats in World Cup playoffs. Kelleher notably as well, Pinnock for Jamaica. Numbers of players, Jensen, Damsgaard, all falling to the wayside of not booking their place at the World Cup next summer. Nathan Collins, Yarmouk. Not a winner in the bunch, but one person who did make a name for himself, James Garner, making his England debut. The ever-present most outfield appearances for any player in Everton. This is 32nd start in 32 games featuring in all. And he made his England debut in that somewhat drab 1-1 draw with Uruguay at Wembley. He is another person who everyone thinks is surely going to be booking his place on Thomas Tuchel's plane. Maybe not necessarily in the starting lineup, but he's a cool, calm customer. Been playing some excellent football to note as Everton have a throw in midway inside their own half up that right hand channel. Not quite found a way to get a stranglehold on the game as of yet, but that goal on the 3rd minute from 12 yards away for Igor Thiago has certainly given Brentford a whole lot of comfort in the game so far. No real threat from Everton as of yet, as McNeil loops the ball up midway into the Brentford half. But Van den Berg with an excellent foot out there, but very poorly played away as Ndai plays up towards Beto, right side of the area, shot, slide tackle over and a deflection out. He's going to go out for a corner for Everton, their first corner of the game. Nathan Collins sliding in front of the shot of Beto on that right hand channel. And Van den Berg on doing all of his good work, intercepting the through ball, the former Liverpool man. But Nathan Collins and Van den Berg just getting themselves in front of the effort from Beto. This corner to be taken then on the right hand side, further channel. Numbers coming up for Everton. This one looks like it's going to be Dwight McNeil swinging this one in. Left footed ball in towards the goal, with the assistant on the far side, Simon Bennett, just having to check that the ball is in play. There is a little bit of a gust in the air as well, moving the ball around, but this corner now coming in, left-footed, swung to the centre of the goal, headed away for Brentford, but only to the edge of the penalty area. Garner back into the box, but not convincing whatsoever, as Brentford have a chance to break, but a superb slide tackle from behind on Branthwaite, but not quite doing enough, as Thiago threads a ball up towards Jensen, but easily marshalled well enough by Ndai, as that ball goes back towards Pickford. Pickford in this all-orange goalkeeper strip, currently defending the goal nearest to that cohort of travelling fans from the Everton area in Liverpool. 174 miles as the crow flies between Liverpool and Brentford. They would have been looking for some sort of an amends from that 4-2 defeat at Hill Dickinson on the 4th of January. The Thiago show, that one in its entirety, a hat-trick to his name. And well, he's continuing to be a thorn in the side of the Toffees and for David Moyes, looking to get Everton back into European football come season's end. 5th spot enough now for a Champions League place in the Premier League. That would intensify things a whole lot more up that side of the table, with Brentford and Everton in hot pursuit of that Europa and Conference League. And Burnley, they denied a lead at home against Brighton as well. That was quickly chalked out by VAR. Themselves looking to keep their very slim survival hopes alive. Wolves is being dealt a massive blow last night, that 4-0 defeat. With their other games kicking off tomorrow, Crystal Palace hosting Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Sunderland, Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham now sitting in 18th place in the Premier League, find themselves in a tricky spot. The big game, Chelsea, Manchester City at the Bridge. And then Monday night's game is Manchester United, Leeds United. But we are over 10 minutes gone here at the G-Tech Community. It's Brentford 1, Everton 0. Goal on the 3rd minute from Thiago from the spot. The man keeping himself in Brazilian national team plans and sights. As Collins carries the ball on the deck up the left-hand channel over the halfway line. Shaw pass left towards Lewis Potter, his 125th Brentford senior career appearance since signing from Hull, but far too easily dispossessed there by Garner. Playing the ball up to the halfway line. Beto under some pressure, but doing well to work the ball away. But enough of a threat coming back with Sharda putting in the last tackle to dispossess the Everton striker on the halfway line. Yarmoluk, the Ukrainian, now turns inside of his own half, back towards the comfort of the centre-backs. And Jensen, cool as you like in the centre circle, turning away and dinking the ball out to the left-hand channel. One touch on from Lewis Potter, full of confidence this season, and it shows as well in his performances. 1-2 with Damsgaard, back to Lewis Potter. 10 yards outside the left edge of the penalty area. Just waiting for a little bit of movement. Everton players not encouraging or approaching too much to open up spaces, which then led to that penalty that gave Brentford the lead earlier on today. As Vandenberg plays the ball out now towards Coyote. 10 yards outside the right edge of the area. Utara looking to build away from Mikalenko, sliding in from behind. Mikalenko shielding, and it's going to be a free kick for Everton just inside of their own penalty area. 1-0 to the Bees. They themselves 3 draws in a row in the Premier League as well, and a loss to West Ham in the Cup. Sandwiched between that, their last win coming against Burnley on the 28th of February. That was a smash and grab 4-3 victory up at Burnley. That one, Damsgaard on the double there. But this is a lot more like it for Keith Andrews and his side. Impressed everyone so much this season as well, Keith Andrews. Many thought he was just a set-piece coach and a specialist. Management might be a bit too much for him. A side that lost a lot of players in the likes of Wissa and Mbumo. But that is not the case at all. They've flourished under Keith Andrews and continue to flourish ever more here in the West London sunshine. But that is a very poor pass out wide. Instead by Damsgaard, very uncharacteristic of the Dane, making his way back into the starting lineup. Missed the Leeds game with a knee injury. He was a potential doubt for this game as well. They thought he wasn't quite recovered from the knee injury, even more so for the Denmark defeat against Czechia in the World Cup playoffs in that semi-final final game where they lost on penalties to Czechia. It really is a field of international woe for a lot of the players here, all of them representing countries that fell at the final hurdle, and some of which just featured in games that were less than impressive. England, of course, that drab 1-1 draw with Uruguay. James Garner making his debut in that 1-0 loss to Japan. Ethan Pinnock as well, falling to a defeat against Democratic Republic of the Congo in their playoff over in Mexico after defeating New Caledonia, as Ndai looks to build up the left-hand channel. Well won there, though, by Utara, but Coyote shielding the ball right in the corner of the field. Bit of pressure here for Brentford, pinned in their own half, but brilliant deflection. Wonderful play from Utara off of Mikalenko. And that one goes out for a goal kick for the Bees. So we're 15 minutes into the game here at the G-Tech. Brentford 1, Everton 0. Thiago on the 3rd minute from 12 yards away. Sharda brought down in the box, taking the ball around Jordan Pickford. And the England #1 picking up a yellow card in the process. He made his 100th Everton clean sheet in their win against Chelsea, that 3-0 victory. Such an impressive performance, that one at Hill Dickinson Place. They've really struggled to establish that as a strong performance venue for them. On the road, Everton have been superb, but that was a statement victory for David Moyes just before the international break after that defeat to Arsenal. But now they're facing another struggle against another team from London. All the London teams coming into full view for Everton at the moment. They've got the big one themselves next weekend in the Merseyside derby as Dewsbury Hall turns away into the centre circle, carrying the ball now up into the Brentford half. Short ball laid off towards McNeil, threaded ball up to Beto, breaking into the left side of the penalty area, but Vandenberg marshals, up goes the assistant's flag. And it's going to be a free kick for Brentford just outside of their own penalty area. Beto with a thumbs up there towards McNeil, seeing that ball coming through. And actually a judge there for the pullback on Sepp Vandenberg instead. That free kick taken short, poorly executed away. Brentford's passing at the moment starting to slack a little as Ndai plays the ball to Gay, but beautifully intercepted by Damsgaard in the process. As Coyote now finds Utara. Utara inside towards Coyote and back towards their own penalty area, with Vandenberg finding the nearby option of Jensen. The two Danes combining, Jensen and Damsgaard, back now instead into the D. Everton pushing players a little bit further upfield at the moment. David Moyes not known for his pressing tactics either. A man always looking to break on the counter as well. But so many injuries for Brentford to contend with. A number of players on the bench, youth team players, 4 of which in particular yet to make a senior Premier League appearance for the Bees. So depending on how things go here, we could get some fresh sighting of Brentford up-and-comers potentially this afternoon as the sun continues to shine gloriously this afternoon here in West London. Not too far from the flyover out towards the west edges of the city. They are a lot more than just a bus stop. Famous chant that they gave to themselves when they first came up to the Premier League. Just a bus stop from West London. But the Bees are now flying high and certainly putting a sting into the Toffees' side this afternoon. With the game simmering down just a little bit more in the last 10 or so minutes. No real threat of any note for either side, in particular since Brentford took the lead on the 3rd minute. Milenko now with a throw-in deep inside of his own half up this left-hand side. Vandenberg just touching the ball out for even more progression. This is a throw-in now 5 yards inside the Everton half up this near side. Right in front of David Moyes and the Everton bench. There are some notable options off the bench in particular. Need a little bit of an injection of flair and pace. Dibbling is one of those that you would look at, as well as Tyreek George. Merlin Roll as well. Always handy to try and make time to get the ball up on the deck. But he's so little game time. 5 minutes. This is the 18th of the 18th of January. Freiburg less than impressed with the lack of game time that he is getting, but Brantthwaite now edge of the area, shot from range but going wide, always curling wide of the target, that one. Brantthwaite with a flirtatious effort from around 25 yards out. He's carrying the ball towards the edge of the penalty area, right-footed, swung, but that was always looking and going comfortably wide of Kellerer's goal, outstretched to the right-hand side, that bright luminous yellow. We really are in the business end of the season now. 6 games to go after this for Brentford. They themselves have a derby, as do Everton. West London derby, Fulham hosting Fulham here on the 18th of April. That one, the early kickoff next Saturday. As Farai Halam is just having a little word at the moment with Tarkowski and Igor Thiago. Just having a word with one or two. Well, Tarkowski just throwing himself at Thiago. Just seen a little replay of it here. Unsure exactly what Tarkowski was doing there, not sure, but Coyote throws a ball up this near channel, headed out again for a Brentford throw-in. This one midway inside the Everton half. Coyote, an absolute threat from throw-ins. Long, booming throws in towards the penalty area. As he looks to wind up another Coyote special. The Italian. Signed from Fiorentina in the summer, a superb first season for the Bees for him as he now comes to wind this throw in long in towards the edge of the 6-yard area. And that one easily dealt with enough there though by Everton. Despite the throw-in threat, Coyote is yet to find a goal from a throw himself in terms of setting a goal up. But it's such a long throw into the box. A cannon, absolute cannon of a throw. That one midway inside of the Everton half and thrown right in towards the edge of the 6-yard area. As Damsgaard now turns back to find Jensen off the edge of the centre circle. 20 minutes gone here. Brentford 1, Everton 0. Brentford with the ball midway inside the Everton half up that left-hand channel. Sharder and Lewis Potter just 1-2, ball in towards the box, towards the back post, deflection down, and well, the Brentford players are looking for a handball, but immediately waved away. Coyote the one pushing the question furthest towards Farai Halam. As Everton now just looking to build the play out of their own half up this left-hand side. Better passing this from Everton as well in the final few minutes. It's Dewsbury Hall. 6 goals and 5 assists to his name, leading in the contribution stakes for Everton. He's had an excellent first season himself since arriving, Kieran Dewsbury Hall from Chelsea. I know this part of the world very well, but that's a wonderful ball threaded up towards Dewsbury Hall, left edge of the box, played across the goal, but Beto sliding in, can't quite keep the ball alive. Still O'Brien now out on that right-hand side, edge of the area to Gay. Gay, short pass back instead towards Garner, carrying the ball to the right-hand side of the field. As McNeil now plays the ball in towards the box, headed away, not quite dealt with, strike from the edge of the area, and there's the follow-up, and what a save from Kelleher, but up goes the assistant's flag on that far side. Kelleher called upon twice. One time needed, one time would have been given the offside call. But that was a venomous strike from the edge of the penalty area. Everton so nearly finding a leveller there on the 23rd minute. The ball dropping to Gay off the edge of the box, striking the ball with real pace. And Kelleher with a save deflected right down. And actually, from what I've seen, I think if Beto had put that into the back of the net, I think he might have been onside potentially there. So 2 vital saves from Kieran Kelleher, former Liverpool man himself. Definitely saw that Gay shot late enough, had to dive right down to his right on the touchline, or the goal line, sorry, to keep that one out. So close, Everton, to finding the leveller there. That's the first real threat of the game for Everton. It's the first real threat on the goal for either side since Brentford took the lead on the 3rd minute. Agonisingly close for both Gay and for Beto. I think that could have stood if Beto found a way to tuck that beyond Kelleher. I think he was played in an offside position, or an onside position personally myself. As we are now midway through this first half here at G-Tech. Brentford 1, Everton 0. Thiago finding his 20th of the campaign from 12 yards away. Hat-trick hero against Everton on the 4th of January. Well, starting in fine form once again here as well. Sharder brought down in the box by Jordan Pickford. As now Yarmouk's just receiving a little bit of treatment himself, just down on the deck. Farai Halam and the 2 physios stood around. I think Nathan Collins gesturing towards the bench for something. Yarmouk, they weren't sure if he was going to play today. Even featuring off the bench, brushing off a couple of injury woes himself from his duties with Ukraine, losing to Sweden in that international break. So his playoff hopes and Mikalenko's coming to an end as Yarmouk makes his way towards the touchline here on this near side. And he actually going to receive a new shirt. I think that's what Nathan Collins was gesturing, that he needs a new shirt. I'm not entirely sure why he needs a new shirt. I can't see anything wrong with the one that he was wearing. Maybe it was a bit too big, a bit too small. Kelleher, free kick now, inside of his own penalty area. And the ball bouncing, evading everyone straight towards his opposite number in Jordan Pickford. A number of former Liverpool players in the Brentford team. Kelleher and Vandenberg most notably. They're always looking to try and maintain a little bit of something in a former rivalry to keep it ignited just enough. I'm sure those Everton fans will be well aware of their former employer status. That big game coming up for them. That'll be the first Merseyside derby at Hill Dickinson as well, the new one. That's on the 19th of April next Sunday, a 2 o'clock kickoff. Well, Everton, they actually have got a good record here. They're unbeaten in their last 3 away games here. It's been an excellent excellent hunting ground for them in terms of finding vital points. Brentford did win the first ever meeting between the two of them in the Premier League here. That was on the 28th of November 2021. Ivan Toney scoring likewise as of Thiago today from 12 yards on the 24th minute, giving them that 1-0 win. As O'Brien has a heavy touch deep in the Brentford half up the right-hand side. Lewis Potter shielding the ball away from the tall towering figure of O'Brien. Played back into the box. Beto with the header, and there's the leveller. And Everton have got themselves back in here on the 26th minute, and it is Beto with a cute header, guided beyond Kelleher and into the back of the Brentford net. If any side was looking most recently that they were going to be a side to get the next goal, it looked like it was going to be Everton. Lewis Potter giving the ball away far too easily to O'Brien, putting so much pressure deep in the corner of their own half. And then a cute ball dinked into the box. Beto guiding the ball onwards for his 7th goal of the campaign. Scored a brace against Chelsea and got a goal here this afternoon against the Bees. There will surely be some questions asked of Lewis Potter. Not entirely sure what he was doing, but he gifted the opportunity to O'Brien to lay the ball off to Gay, dinking the ball into the box, and Beto with a header just guided cutely the other side of Kelleher, who'd made a previous couple of vital saves just minutes earlier. But on the 26th minute, Everton find themselves back in this game. The score: Brentford 1, Everton 1. Beto, his 3rd goal in 2 games, both against West London opposition. Beto, who's slow to start the season as well, the Guinea-Bissau international. And with that goal as well, that has now given him his best goal-scoring record at any club in his career. He was level with 22 goals scored for Everton with Udinese, but now with that, his 23rd, he's now established himself, with Everton being the most goals he's scored goals for in his career. Big goal for Beto, that one as well, with his traditional high knee stomp celebration into the corner of the field here at the G-Tech. Good first half this. Plenty on offer for both sides regarding what could happen and come at full time. As Coyote now looks to try and wind another long throw in towards the penalty area. This one around halfway inside the Everton half, up this right-hand side. Coyote in towards the near side of the 6-yard box, headed up into the air, not quite dealt with in the 6-yard area. Tarkowski clearing away. Coyote heading back into the box. Everton scrambling to get the ball away, but winning a free kick for their troubles with the captain Tarkowski bundled down to the ground outside of his own penalty area. Well, Tarkowski's a strong leader for Everton. Many thinking that he should be getting the nod as well for England duty in the summer. A lot of people thinking that's one of the weak spots for the England team in the coming World Cup, and they think Tarkowski could be a perfect addition. David Moyes has spoken about that, as well as Dewsbury Hall puts excellent pressure on deep in the Brentford half. Collins clearing the ball out for a throw-in for Everton. This one around 4 yards from the corner flag on this near side. Everton certainly seemingly more like the team with their tails up. In the first 10 minutes it was all Brentford, but since then, as we approach the half an hour mark, Everton fully deserving of their leveller, and they're now very much in hot pursuit for a lead. As we wait to see this throw in come into the box from Mikalenko, thrown in, another deep throw in towards the penalty area, but Brentford dealing with it. Sharda knocking the ball out and long, chasing, but straight towards O'Brien. Plays the ball back all the way towards towards Pickford, midway inside of his own half with a left-footed ball long up this left channel. One well in the air by Utara, who bundles right behind Brantford. Brantford looking for a little bit more, not getting anything as they're wrestling the ball away from one another. Utara now, ball at feet, breaking away from Ghana, sliding down, nothing coming of it. Utara in towards Sharda, midway inside the Everton half. Wonderful slide tackle from behind from Gay, dispossessing the Senegalese international. As Sharda gingerly gets back up to his feet, shaking out what he felt there from the tackle from the Senegalese international. As the ball now back towards Kelleher outside of his own penalty area. The Bees with the ball now dead centre of the centre circle. Poor pass up there from Yarmuluk straight towards James Garner, who just carries the ball away from nearby red and white threat. As Garner plays the ball back towards the captain Tarkowski. Squared pass to the left towards Branthwaite. As Everton more than happy to keep the ball alive amongst themselves in plenty of space. Tarkowski, long ball for Beto to chase. Brentford not quite dealing with it again. Heavy touch, Dewsbury Hall into the box, but cleared away by the Brentford defenders coming back. Brentford certainly feeling stretched at the moment in this one, but winning a free kick well. A slide tackle down a bit too aggressively in the eyes of the referee Farai Halam there from Idrissa Gueye. As Jensen wins the Bees a free kick around 15 yards inside their own half. Brentford starting the game strongly, but allowing Everton right back into this one, and fully deserving of their leveller on the 26th minute. Beto with a brace against Chelsea and a goal here this afternoon. 7 goals to his name this season. Well, for Everton, goals have been hard to come by as well. Fewest goals scored of any team in the top half of the table with 37. Alongside Brentford as well, 2 teams who struggle to find the back of the net. Both of them level with poor goal-scoring records. Much more defensive duty teams, both of them winning the most aerial duels of any team in the league, as Damsgaard has the ball, played in towards the box, easily dealt with there by Mikalenko, swiping away to the halfway line. Vandenberg, ball in towards the Everton half, but dealt with immediately there by O'Brien, the tall, towering figure of O'Brien. Another one of the players here on the field who had the international heartbreak of World Cup playoff woes. No World Cup for themselves, but Ndiaye plays the ball to Gueye, the Senegalese combining 1-1 there. Ball out to the right-hand side of the field. Everton with the ball, 10 yards inside of the Brentford half. Dwight McNeil turning back to the comfort of the tall, towering figure of O'Brien, whose work rate and pressure absolutely led to the Everton leveller. Bundling Lewis Potter down to the ground, who was looking for something from nothing. As Everton now break away themselves. Midway inside of the Brentford half up the left-hand channel. Garner laid off to Mikalenko on the byline. Ball into the box, but immediately dealt with by Coyote with a long outstretched leg. Thiago, chest down, surrounded by players in Everton blue, and immediately dispossessed in the process. Despite scoring the goal today, Thiago has had very few touches in this game. One of his only real touches must have been striking the ball from 12 yards away. He's barely had a touch on the ball, heavily isolated as Everton come yet again. Left edge of the penalty area. Beto turning away short, laid off to Ndiaye, in towards Gueye, off the D. But Brentford far too easy to dispossess as they try and break away themselves now. Ball played up to Thiago. Midway into the Everton half, crossfield ball to the left-hand channel. Wonderful find of Jensen. He's got Lewis Potter in support up to the byline. Jensen doing it himself. Shot from range. Oh, and Jensen so nearly finding the second. Denied by a wonderful save from Jordan Pickford. A phenomenal goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford. Always showcasing why he's England's #1. And Jensen so nearly guiding the ball just inside of his near post. But Pickford getting a big hand on it to palm out for a corner for the Bees. Their first real threat on the goal since taking the lead 30 minutes ago. And this corner is going to be taken by Jensen, who had that shot just then on the further side. This to be a right-footed ball swung in towards the goal. Plenty of players in blue in the 6-yard area. Defensive duty to the full for the Toffees. Jensen, right arm raised, right-footed now, swung into the near post. Not quite dealt with. Sharda, though, with a poor connection coming off his back. And he goes out for a goal kick for Everton. Well, we've got around 10 minutes to go of the first half here at the G-Tech Community Stadium. It's Brentford 1, Everton 1. Thiago giving the Bees the lead on the 3rd minute from 12 yards away. And then Beto on the 26th minute guiding a cute header beyond Kelleher and into the back of the Bees' net. Brentford seeming a little bit standoffish at the moment, especially since taking the lead, as they look to try and establish themselves another chance to find a goal to put them back in front. A brilliant start for the Bees in this game, but that advantage swiped away just 23 minutes later. As Utara has a heavy touch out, but coming back to tackle is Garner. Ball played out for a Brentford throw-in. 6 yards inside the Everton half on this nearer side. Coyote, instead of launching the ball long up the touchline, he goes back in towards his own half, looking for plenty of space. Brentford just trying to wrestle and win the ball well on the touchline, and they do just that as the ball has been dinked up now for Utara to chase up the left-hand touchline, but a wonderful slide tackle in from Brantwaite, dispossessing. Brantwaite, so few games for him, having to deal with injuries, mostly with his hamstring. First appearance this season was on the 26th of January against Leeds. This is 9th appearance in his 6th start. Well, and of those 8 games previous to this, only 3 of them had completed the 90 minutes. As Coyote looks to wind another dangerous long throw in towards the penalty area on this near side. Level with the 18-yard line, thrown deep into the box. Good pace in it, but headed away well enough by Brantwaite. As Everton now looks change down on that ball, played back into a dangerous area by Yarmuluk, off the edge of the box though, headed away with ease. Brentford trying to get the ball under their own spell. Lewis Potter with a good outstretched foot. Damsgaard out to the left-hand side of the field. Utara now coming in towards the left edge of the box. He's got a couple of players nearby, goes to the byline, ball in the 6-yard area, headed away by Mikalenko, cleared. That's going to go for yet another Brentford throw-in. This one on the further channel. A little bit more like it for Brentford in the last 5 minutes of this game. Seemingly far more up for this one, sitting back so deeply since taking the lead, allowing Everton on. But this is a lot more like it from the Bees in this game. And another corner for Brentford to try and contend with here. The first one not getting beyond the first man, coming off of Sharda. As Jensen looks to wind a ball in, right-footed, swung in towards the goal. Lots of movement around Pickford in the 6-yard area. Ball to the near post, headed across the face of the goal, headed back down. Can Thiago find it? He can't. Wonderful, but still Brentford come. Ball edge of the box. Wonderful interception though from the Everton players coming back. Still, Brentford look to maintain pressure. Shot, edge of the box, high, wide, high from Damsgaard, and going out for a goal kick. Jordan Pickford again, called upon brilliantly. So much movement around him in the box as well. Sharda with the header glancing onwards. Pickford with a big save. And an even bigger one getting down with a little help from the defenders. But Pickford, marvellous management of the ball in the box in such a tight area as well. The header was superb from Sharda. Looked like it might have been hitting the bar, but Pickford took no chances. And then just jumping down on the ball immediately when it was loose in the 6-yard area, swiping the ball away. The England number 1 having a very impressive season yet again, as he has done for Everton ever since that arrival from Sunderland, maintaining that England number 1 spot as well. No one can take that away from him at the moment. And some of the saves he's made in the last 5 minutes, you can absolutely understand why he has that number 1 sitting on the back of his England shirt. As Brentford have the ball now just inside of their own half, nearing the 40th minute of the game. Still 1 apiece here in West London. The sun still gloriously shining down here in the stadium, nestled around the industrial buildings and the flyover. Almost somewhat dystopian in its image as well, the stadium. Almost looks like Lego pieces as well, with all of the seats intercoloured yellows and greens and reds. It's a fantastically quirky stadium, this one as well. Really is so different to the rest of what are considered the atypical modern footballing arenas. It's quirky, it's got strange diagonal lines, almost similar to the Dell, Southampton's old ground. As Brentford now have the ball midway inside the Everton half up the right-hand side. Utara well to the right edge of the box. Shot, but easily intercepted by Tarkowski. Straight down the middle of the body of the big captain. As Ndai, short pass up towards Dewsbury Hall. Carrying the ball now into the Brentford half up this left-hand side. He's got options in runners up. Short inside towards Ndai. Turning away from the threat, but a wonderful tackle down. Thiago can't quite get there. Garner winning the ball well. Gay up towards Dwight McNeil, 5 yards from the edge of the box, turning, waiting for support. As McNeil dinks a ball in towards the penalty area, and Dye can't quite get there. Kelleher comes charging out to punch the ball away, and Dye still down as Everton come yet again, but Dewsbury Hall can't quite keep the ball under his spell. As the Bees send a long ball up for Utara to chase. but not quite able to maintain the pressure on it enough as Everton get themselves on the ball in the centre circle. Into the final 5 minutes of the game now. Not too much incident to report of for Andy Madley to consider when it comes to the duty of the number card being raised in the next 4 minutes. There was that stoppage for Yarmouk. That one, the only real one of note. So a couple of minutes at most, I reckon, at the end of this first half here in West London. The score: Brentford 1, Everton 1. Thiago giving Brentford the lead from the spot on the 3rd minute, before Beto found the leveller on the 26th. Here's Mikalenko now. Level wedge with the left side of Brentford's penalty area, waiting for numbers in support and finding Garner. 1-2 back to the Ukrainian. As Braithwaite plays a short ball now towards Garner himself. Now with that England cap firmly, proudly on top of his head, picking it up against Uruguay in the international break. McNeil, 15 yards from the right edge of the box, just waiting for support, finding the short pass of Gay and further out wide towards O'Brien. Brentford holding their shape at the moment, but there's the ball in towards the box. Just looking to clear the ball away now is Collins, and even further still Lewis Potter. Brentford still under a little bit of pressure inside of their own half, as the referee now is just going to stop play. Gay going down there, just holding the front of his face, giving Farai Halam very little to do in terms of not stopping play. As Idrissa Gay now is just sitting upright at the moment, with the physio team coming on to check on the Senegalese international. Well, one of those big rules coming in the World Cup is if a player goes down with the physios coming on, they have to leave the field for a full minute before they're allowed back on at the referee's jurisdiction, trying to cut out time wasting or potential feigning of injuries to slow the game down. And that will come into effect in the World Cup, a tournament that both Gay and Ndiaye will be in. The Senegalese, the big powerhouse of African football, parading their AFCON trophy around the Stade de France during the international break, defiant in their opposition to Morocco being handed the trophy. As Gay now makes his way towards the touchline, waiting for Farai Halam's condition to come back onto the field, but play will resume with a drop ball for Brentford inside of their own half. As Lewis Potter now carries the ball up with a short pass out wide, midway into the Everton half now, played back towards Jensen, 5 yards from the centre circle. Yarmouk, ball out to the right hand channel. Coyote cutting in from the right with another short pass to the Ukrainian. Still with the ball, midway inside the Everton half. Utara, wonderful ball up to Coyote, right side of the box, played into the area, but a good interception again from Tarkowski, leading by example. An excellent first half for him as Everton now look to break themselves. Gay back on the field and on the ball now with the ball. 10 yards, but slipping underfoot as he looked to break in towards the box. But still Everton with the ball. Edge of the area. McNeil easily intercepted there by Van den Berg, getting a big body in front. It's Brentford themselves that try and break away now. Damsgaard with the ball off the centre circle inside of his own half. With a squared pass back across towards Coyote. Back further still now towards Yarmouk. All very slow at the moment for Brentford in terms of their build-up play. Everton's counter is so much more aggressive than Brentford's. Brentford is very static. And you can see a few of the wider players getting a bit frustrated with the lack of speed to get things going. But Collins now carrying the ball with a wonderful run towards the left edge of the area, but easily dispossessed. And now a man light at the back. Can Everton have a chance to break now up the right-hand side? McNeil carries the ball in towards the Brentford half. Laid up, but far too heavily for Dewsbury Hall's outstretched left foot. And he goes towards Kelleher instead. Into the final minute of the 45. Just 20 seconds away from seeing how much time is going to be lifted up by Andy Madley, the fourth official this afternoon. The only real instance coming there for Gay's injury check and for Yarmouk's. Should be 2, maybe no more than 3 minutes, I reckon, as Brentford just played the ball in the middle third of the field at the moment. Is now the ball played out midway inside of the Everton half. 5 minutes of time added on. 5 minutes at the end of this half. Plenty more time than I thought there was going to be at the end of this half. Brighton 1-0 up away at Burnley. Pfeiffer finding the back of the net there on the 43rd minute, so a late lead for Brighton. Up at Burnley, relegation very much threatened, staring straight down the barrel of the Championship once more for Burnley. Find themselves 12 points adrift from West Ham in 17th. Wolves 15 points adrift from West Ham after that defeat, almost certainly confirming their relegation in the next couple of games. As McNeil sends a wonderful ball up on the deck towards Gay, taking towards the corner flag on the right hand side, ball in towards the Brentford box, but Kelleher gets big arms in the air ahead of Beto, claiming that ball for himself at the back post. The first minute of the 5 minimum have been played as Brentford look to break away themselves, but it's a wonderful interception from behind from Garner, charging down on Damsgaard. Everton now looking to break again, and Dye midway into the Brentford half, coming in from the left edge of the area towards Garner, but a wonderful tackle in from Coyote, just maintaining his composure to get a big foot in on the edge of the area. Utara dinking a ball up this left-hand channel with Thiago shielding the ball away and winning a free kick. Michaelenko coming in a little bit too aggressively in the back of the Brazilian, the man who opened the scoring this afternoon from 12 yards on the 3rd minute. A static first half with plenty of time in the centre of the park on the ball. But Everton have seemed far more likely at the moment to be the side knocking on another goal-scoring door. Did find themselves a level on the 26th minute. Beto with his 7th goal of the campaign. And Thiago his 20th, making him a joint top scorer for Brentford in a Premier League season alongside both Tony and Mbumo. So there's still plenty of games to go before Igor Thiago could establish himself as the top scorer in a season for a Brentford player in the top flight. And a free kick here for Everton. Michaelenko brought down by Utara, 15 yards inside of his own half on this right-hand side. Utara claiming his innocence. Michaelenko now just down, holding his right ankle and his right in the back of his neck. I think he might have just been caught there with the foot by Dango Utara, the Burkina Faso international. He actually missed the Everton game earlier in the season due to being on AFCON duty. And he came off the bench versus Leeds as well, starting back in the lineup for Keith Andrews. Now the international break has come to its finishing point for this season. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 10 games as well, Dango Utara. He's been an excellent arrival from Bournemouth in the summer. But it's going to be Pickford to take this free kick then. Crossfield to the right-hand side of the Brentford half, but easily dealt with. And do the Bees have a chance again? Poor heavy touch from Schade, ending any form of a break themselves. As McNeil turns away from the pressure of Lewis Potter, still keeping the ball alive, but a good tackle from Schade going out for an Everton throw-in. Midway inside the Brentford half, up that right-hand side. It is going to be O'Brien looking to throw this ball in. Not much movement again for him to try and find blue shirts. And even Farai Halam is having to tell the Irish international to take another few spaces further backwards. Throw now up towards Gay, right edge of the area. McNeil, ball into the box, but Kelleher comes across, clutching that ball out the air with a first-time right-footed ball long towards Thiago, looking to dink the ball away from Michaelenko, but the Ukrainian with a big outstretched foot, clearing the ball away from danger. As Gardner sends a long ball up into the Brentford half, not quite bouncing comfortably enough for Beto, easily dealt with by Van den Berg. As we are now into the final minute of the minimum 5 here of the first half. Brentford 1, Everton 1. The pursuit for European football next season firmly in the sights of the 2 on the field here at the G-Tech. Brentford in 7th, Everton in 8th. And that's a ball into the box for Brentford, easily dealt with by the tall, towering figure of Jared Branthwaite. And do Everton have one last chance to break here, but Van den Berg gets a big foot on it. All the way back towards Kelleher in his own box. Seconds remaining of the 5. Plenty to think about for both managers, I reckon, in this one as well. No side out of it, no side really in it as well for large spells of this game. As Brentford switch the ball out towards Lewis Potter. Last chance now, ball into the box, Tarkovsky header away. And there goes the referee Farai Halam's whistle for half-time. Brentford 1, Everton 1, Brentford taking the lead after list for the game today. He has now made his way down on towards the dugouts with Reiss Nelson on loan from Arsenal coming in. 7 matches played since his arrival on loan, 61 minutes total as well. So a big chance this for Reiss Nelson to get some vital minutes under his belt in Brentford red and white. Brentford just about dominating the possession stats there, but all very level in this game at the moment. One apiece seems to be a very fair scoreline, it must be said, as the glorious sunshine continues to shine brightly on the field here at the G-Tech. We are now back underway in this second half. Everton now will be kicking from left to right in their all-blue strip, with Brentford kicking from right to left in their red and white striped shirts with black shorts and black socks. So for Brentford, Kelleher in goal with Coyote, Collins, Vandenberg and Lewis Potter. At the back, Yarmouk, Jensen, Utara, Sharda and now Nelson in midfield, with Thiago, the scorer of the first goal this afternoon, up top. And there were no changes made for Everton. Pickford in goal with Mikalenko, Braithwaite, Tarkowski and O'Brien at the back. Garner, Gay, Ndiaye, Dewsbury Hall and McNeil in the middle. And then Beto, the other goal scorer, up top. And Brentford winning themselves a free kick midway inside of the Everton half. And it looks like James Garner will be the next name to enter the referee's book. Farai Halam raising a yellow card up there for the foul on Dango Utara. James Garner feeling that he'd got the ball, but the referee Farai him very much otherwise. And a free kick early on here in a position of some advantage for Brentford here. If they can loft a dangerous ball in towards the penalty area. There's plenty of height though for them to contend with in the Everton team. Most notably by way of Braithwaite, 6'4", Beto, he's 6'4", Tarkowski 6'2", tall towering figure. So balls into the box have always been somewhat bread and butter stuff for Everton really this season in particular. But it's going to be a free kick then for the Bees. Reiss Nelson and Matthias Jensen both stood over this one at the moment. Midway between the Everton half as Nelson leaves it for Jensen. Jensen, right-footed, driven, header! Oh, and it's a wonderful save, and it's hit the top of the crossbar even at that as well. Collins comes charging in, the captain in towards the box. Perfectly timed run, and his header just catching the crossbar and bouncing over for a goal kick. Brentford so nearly finding themselves back in front here this afternoon at the G-Tech. Jensen with a wonderful whipped right-footed ball in towards the box. And the captain, Nathan Collins, so close to finding his second goal of the season. His first coming against Everton in that 4-2 win back at Hill Dickinson on the 4th of January. He very nearly found the back of the net yet again against the Toffees. The Republic of Ireland international and the captain. But it's still one apiece here. That the best chance to kick things off nicely. Jensen dangerous from a dead ball situation and showing exactly why just there. Well, there are other games happening in the Premier League as well. There was the earlier kick-off today. Arsenal falling to a 2-1 shock defeat at home to Bournemouth, and West Ham winning 4-0 last night. Against Wolves, Brighton took a late lead in the other kick-off at this time today. They're away to Burnley at Turf Moor. And then Liverpool, they host Fulham later on for the Saturday afternoon evening kick-off. And then tomorrow, Palace host Newcastle, Nottingham Forest host Villa, Sunderland hosting Tottenham before the big one. Chelsea and Man City and Man United and Leeds. And Sharda so nearly there, finding the back of the net yet again. Sharda, a player who's only missed a few games, mostly through suspensions from red and yellow cards. 7 goals to his name this season as well for Sharda. Not quite finding any form of a convincing connection into the box. Pickford charging out, always ready to let the players know when something needs improving from Jordan Pickford. He is going to be right on you like a rash, as it is a goal kick for Everton. 5 minutes gone here then in the second half. Brentford 1, Everton 1. Brentford very much in control at the start of this half as they were at the start of the first. Everton slow to get out of the changing room at the moment, as Brentford win the ball back well off of Beto inside of their own half. Good composure from Nelson under pressure as Vandenberg turns on a dime away from Gay. Jensen needs to be careful, but chips a dink ball up. Now cute inside to the centre circle. Utara carries the ball now out of the Brentford half into the Everton 1. Midway inside the Everton half, still with the ball at his feet. Left side of the box, laid off to Lewis Potter. 5 yards from the byline, ball into the penalty area, and then a big header away. Brilliant interception that from Mikalenko, but Brentford come yet again as Utara now has the ball. 15 yards from the corner flag, in towards the box, away from Thiago in the header, cleared away by Tarkowski, swiped by Garner, cleared out of the Everton penalty area. Everton under full defensive duty mode at the moment at the start of this half, as Beto tries to throw and get in the way of Collins, taking that throw in quickly enough. Keith Andrews wants a little more than the referee just telling him off. The Brentford switch out to the right hand side. Aggressive start this from Brentford at the start of the half, but Utara can't quite get his foot on the ball convincingly. Mikalenko pouncing on the loose ball as Everton try and break away up that right hand side with a chip ball up to Dewsbury Hall. Heavy touch on, allowing the pressure to come on as Brentford get themselves back on the ball and all the way back towards Kelleher. Lively start to the second half in what was a very tight first half. Plenty of level statistics in terms of things like possession and chances and saves. Scoreline justified, I would have to say, but this has been a much more lively start to the game for Brentford as they switch a ball out. Lewis Potter keeping the ball alive on the byline on this left-hand side, cutting into the left edge of the box, turning away from McNeil, ball into the penalty area, over Thiago, back into the box, but Gay heads the ball away, all the way out only as far as Yarmouk. 15 yards from the edge of the area, Yarmouk right-footed, driven into the box. Tarkowski sliding in to clear the ball away. Everton digging deep right now in defensive duty. Brentford again on the ball. Jensen right-footed, chipping a ball up the right-hand touchline. Driven low ball into the box by Utara, but dealt with yet again by the resilient Everton defence. As Jensen flicks a ball up midway inside the Everton half, Brentford looking to maintain and make the most of all this pressure and time on the ball as they do win themselves a throw in this one around just over halfway into the Everton half up the further channel, and Coyote coming over to claim ownership of this one as Coyote instead plays the ball up the channel, swiped in the air by Otaro, and the header from Collins, but no direction from Collins whatsoever on that. He could have done better. He knows it himself, moving away, shaking his head, and it goes out for a goal kick for Everton. Lively start here then in West London. The glorious West London sunshine and the flyover just mere metres away from here. Brentford and Everton still one apiece, the two teams in hot pursuit for European football next season. Brentford currently sitting in 7th place, Everton in 8th. 5th spot gaining a Champions League place next season. So Brentford would be sitting in a Europa League space, Everton in a Conference League. David Moyes, his only trophy to his name, the Conference League trophy with West Ham. As Brentford look to break away up the right-hand side. Coyote far too easily dispossessed though, looking for a foul, but Farai Halam thinking nothing of it as Everton look to swipe a ball, but it's a poor pass by Dewsbury Hall behind the body of Beto. As Brentford look to come yet again, carrying the ball over the halfway line into the Everton half up this left-hand side. Collins inside towards Sharda. Sharda to Nelson. A chance for Nelson to get some vital match-worn minutes under his belt. Just 61 minutes to his name in Brentford red and white this season before coming on at half-time. Massive opportunity this for Reece Nelson as that's a ball somewhat guideless, ding towards the box. Everton dealing with the ball well enough as Garner plays a ball up the deck, but again, all of the Everton passes in this second half have not found their targets. Lewis Potter up to Thiago, left side of the box, into the back post, just over the head of everyone else. Sharda with the shot, but a good interception again. Everton having to do everything they can to keep this ball from going into the back of their net for a second time. Yarmouk across the side of the box now towards Thiago, left-footed in towards the penalty area, but far too heavy over the oncoming run of Coyote, kicking the post in frustration. And that one goes out for a goal kick for Everton. 10 minutes gone here in the second half. Brentford 1, Everton 1. A lively start to this game, in particular for Brentford. Everton digging deep at the back in their own third. Brentford with a couple of opportunities in this second half to regain the lead. Sharda the best opportunity by a mile. Well marshalled by Brantwaite, getting a big left leg in front of it. Everton slow out of the traps at the start of the second half. Gay now with the ball for Everton, with a rare chance for them to get the ball into the Brentford third in this half now, and Dye carries the ball towards the byline, shepherded by Coyote, left edge of the box, with a good tackle from the Italian, but coming across is Mikalenko. Heavy touch though as Coyote tries to keep the ball in play and does just that, shielding the ball in the corner of the field, all of Mikalenko, and Coyote amping up the fans in the stand behind the goal that Kelleher is in front of. Brilliant composure from Mikhail Coyote. A wonderful signing, many saying that he's by far the signing of the summer for Brentford. There's been a couple of good additions to this team, Dango Utara, as well as Keith and Kelleher. But plenty here in West London think that Michael Coyote is by far the signing of the season for them. Dangerous threat as a fullback, with a tremendous cannon of a throw on in him as well, as Kelleher plays a poor ball out from inside of his own box, sheepishly holding a hand up in apology, and that one goes out for a throw-in for Everton. This one around 5 yards behind being level with the 18-yard area on this near side. And he's going to be Jake O'Brien to take this throw-in. The Republic of Ireland international looking to throw this one long into the box, but up the touchline instead to Beto. Heavy touch on from Beto, though frustrated, and that goes out for a goal kick for Brentford. We're nearing the hour mark here at the G-Tech. Lively start. It's still Brighton 1, Burnley 0 in the other 3 o'clock kickoff on the Saturday fixtures in the Premier League. And well, at the moment, Brentford are the only side to not concede in this 15-minute spell from half-time to the hour mark, and it seems to be the way that this game is going as well. They are a threat here at the G-Tech, but Everton's so strong away from home. This game is always going to be tight, and it has proven just that in the first half. Everton's resilience at the back is so wonderful and deeply admirable. David Moyes always sets his team up with the strong ethos of having a solid back line. 36 goals conceded for his team this season, the fewest of any side outside of the European places in the Premier League. And you can see with the way that they established themselves, also the pairing with James Tarkowski and with Brantwaite, or with Michael Keane, who's on the bench, strong centre-back options for Everton this season. They are delighted to have Jared Brantwaite back, missing large spells of the season with a hamstring injury, when he made his first appearance on the 24th of January against Leeds. So the Everton fans are delighted to see the tall, towering figure of Jared Brantwaite back alongside the tall, towering figure of Jake O'Brien. As many of them as a battle of wills. They do have the highest aerial duels won of any team, Brentford. Also second most behind Everton, who have 684. It's understandable as well with the amount of height that they have and their confidence when the ball is in the air to be the one to win it. But so far in West London, it's level between 7th and 8th. Both goals coming in the first half as we're nearing the hour mark of the game gone here at the G-Tech Community Stadium. A tricky place to go this for many teams. A lot feeling a point here is a worthy point to really earn and accrue here. Dangerous place to come under Thomas Frank and now under Keith Andrews as well. An excellent first season in managerial duties for Keith Andrews, the former set-piece coach here under Thomas Frank, and the former Republic of Ireland international. He actually extended his contract on the 26th of February, earlier just the other month, to 2032. He was offered that very sharply by the hierarchical figures here at Brentford. And for David Moyes, he's back in his second spell. Now in his first full season with Everton in the second spell, arriving in the winter of last season. And David Moyes, he's actually used 22 players this season, the fewest number in the Premier League, which is understandable of David Moyes. He really is a tried, tested and true kind of manager. He doesn't like to mix around with things. He doesn't like to mix things up much at all, even by way of substitutions. He'll only make handfuls at most. He won't ever usually go for the full 5. He has the trust in what he knows. And right now what he knows is defending well in this second half and looking to break away and win themselves a free kick on the halfway line. Dewsbury Hall just brought down off the edge of the centre circle. So a free kick here for Everton with Farai Halam just having a quick word with the Everton players surrounding nearest to him, mostly into a Yarmulke, the guilty party, bringing down Dewsbury Hall on the centre circle. So this is match week 32, 6 games to go after this in the league season. As that's been played up towards Beto in the box, but Kelleher comes down to claim the ball in the penalty area for himself. A wonderful catch-out free kick, that one for Everton, played up to Beto, nearly so perfectly weighted. But now Everton come again. Dewsbury Hall left edge of the area, cutting away, sending Thiago onto the deck. It's been played to Ndiaye. Ndiaye squared to Gay, edge of the area. Everton now with a chance to have a go themselves, but can't quite get it under their feet. As Thiago carries the ball up to the halfway line from that right-hand side, turning well and away with a pass into Nelson, heavy, but Nelson switches out to the left. Lewis Potter now, midway into the Everton half, left edge of the penalty area. Laid up towards Nelson, left inside of the box, 1-2 back towards Lewis Potter, chipped to the back post, high ball in the air, Mikalenko winning well, as Coyote comes charging across alongside Thiago, but Garner gets there first though, sending a ball up this right-hand touchline, Beto shielding the ball away from Collins. So much height in this Everton team, plenty of players in the 6-foot-plus regions for David Moyes. Perfectly suited to David Moyes' football as well. Big, strong working battlers. That's exactly what Everton have in droves here. 6 games to go, 18 points to be picked up remaining after this game. Plenty to play for at the top end and at the bottom end. West Ham with that 4-0 win last night against Wolves. Tottenham now in the drop zone. Arsenal losing earlier to Bournemouth, with Manchester City still with 2 games to play on them and a game against Arsenal. There is certainly plenty to go and consider towards the business end of the Premier League this season. It really is a thrill when it becomes so tight like this towards the end of the season. No runaway winners, no runaway losers, everything to play for, and it's even like that in the middle of the pack where Brentford and Everton are concerned, looking for European football for themselves as Gay has the ball midway into the Brentford half, squared to Mikalenko, carrying the ball to the left-hand side of the field. Mikalenko with a pass back towards Gay. Garner pass back further still towards Branthwaite, threaded up to Gay now, still with the ball midway inside the half, but far too easily dispossessed. Coyote muscling away and now carrying the ball over the halfway line towards this left-hand side. The Italian now cutting in. Wonderful run from the Italian, but a directionless, guideless pass. Looking to play the ball back, they keep the ball alive, Brentford just about keeping it in play there with Yarmulke, squared across towards Jensen. And now Nelson with a square pass to the captain Collins, coming towards the edge of the area, ball at feet, he's going to have a go outside of the foot, not quite cleared enough, as Everton try and break away. Dewsbury Hall catching the ball under his feet, Coyote wrestling alongside, wonderful weighted ball up to Ndiaye, midway into the Brentford half, and Ndiaye now with the ball at feet, charging at Vandenberg, left edge of the area, cutting in, right-footed shot, deflection, but a big save from Kelleher with his right foot, denying the Senegalese international on the break. Well, do Brentford have a chance to break away themselves up on this right-hand side, just slowing things down with Lewis Potter on the ball. Everton with their best chance of the second half just then, falling to Ilman and Ndiaye. 6 goals to his name, scoring against Chelsea in the 3-0 win before the international break, and very nearly making it 2-2 from there. He was one of those players that also missed this game on the 4th of January due to AFCON duty with the Senegalese team, as Dwight McNeil turns beautifully away from Jensen. Short pass up to Beto, 10 yards inside of the Brentford half on this nearer side. 20 minutes gone, Brentford 1, Everton 1. Thiago giving Brentford the lead on the 3rd minute from the spot, his 20th of the campaign, before Beto on the 26th. Mikalenko, left-footed, into the box. Beto can't quite get ahead there, going and guiding all the way over. Shada will see this one out for a Brentford throw-in, deep inside their own half on this nearer side. Everton so nearly, just minutes ago, finding a chance to get level. It was a wonderful save off of a deflection off of Jensen. Kelleher sticking out the foot at the right place as well. Could have a couple of inches further away to the right. That one was going into the back of the Brentford net. Excellent read of play from the Republic of Ireland number 1. Queith and Kelleher signed from Liverpool in the summer. Vandenberg signed from Liverpool the other year. So plenty know exactly what the rivalry means. That rivalry will be tested for the first ever Merseyside derby at Hill Dickinson next weekend. A 2 o'clock kickoff on the 19th of April. And a derby as well for Brentford as they take on Fulham. But Thiago now breaks away from the slip of Branthwaite. Played up towards Nelson. Left edge of the box in towards the byline. Chipped ball across the face of the goal. Pickford charging across. Still kept in play with the bounce. Sharda laid off towards Coyote with a poor pass. Shallow pass as well. Dewsbury Hall winning the ball well and deflecting the ball off of Coyote for a throw-in. Sharda seems disappointed himself. The pass was far too shallow. But Brentford nearly finding a way to hit them on the break there, with Thiago sending Branthwaite down into the deck. Nelson chipping a ball up into the air. No one really at the back post, unsure where it was going. Bashada's pass was poor and Dewsbury Hall reading it well enough to win an Everton throw-in. As we are halfway into the second half here at the G-Tech. Brentford 1, Everton 1. Both teams still sitting in 7th and 8th place respectively. A win for Brentford or for Everton would take them above Chelsea, who play tomorrow against Manchester City in that massive game, the 4:30 kickoff at Stamford Bridge. And as that would stand, it would put them in that 6th spot, that Europa League place. Brentford in one at the moment, Everton in the Conference League spot, given the 5 spaces going to the Champions League for the Premier League this coming season. So plenty to play for those that are lingering in that mid-table area. Gone are the days of mid-table obscurity in English football, when if you finished anything below 4th, you weren't going to get any form of European football. Mid-table obscurity, you've got to look a little bit lower down below there as well. Brighton with the lead at the moment. They only find themselves a point behind Everton as well. So they're firmly in the mix, as a Fulham, as a Bournemouth. Plenty to play for in the business end of the season. Brentford with the ball midway inside of the Everton half. 1-2 with Jensen. Back out towards Yarmouk. As Brentford are just slowing things down again a bit more. Sepp Vandenberg, wonderful threaded pass up to Thiago. Right edge of the box, turning away from Tarkowski. Laid off, Sharda, right-footed, into the area. Back post, Gay with a big header away from Lewis Potter, who guides a header down towards Nelson. Jensen 1-2 back to Nelson. Nelson with a shot from range, but over the bar, going out for a goal kick. Reece Nelson there sizing up an opportunity from around 2 or 3 yards from the edge of the area. But that one was always sailing over the bar as soon as it left the foot of the Arsenal man on loan. So it looks like we might be seeing a couple of changes coming for Everton. A few players getting dressed down at the moment. Looks like Barry and Arobenham will be the ones to come on. 2 changes soon to be made. Just the 1 change made all game long for either side. That one at half-time. Nelson coming on for Damsgaard. Damsgaard, who was uncertain of featuring today, picking up that injury in their last game, not featuring against Leeds. He was started today, but did move a little bit gingerly. Didn't look all that comfortable in the game as well. So understandable. Keith Andrews bringing him off at half-time, as that's a ball played up for Everton, dealt with by Collins, but that's a poor piece of play. Everton now breaking in towards the right side of the box, laid off to McNeil. McNeil left-footed, big interception by Vandenberg, deflected out to Mikalenko, left edge of the area, laid off towards Gay, right-footed from range. Gay sailing over the bar, and that's going to be a goal kick for Brentford, and it might even be the chance now for those changes to be made for David Moyes. It does look like it's going to be Barry and Arobenham coming on. Might even be other changes coming as well, but with Tyreek George. So it looks like we've seen 3 changes in one situation for David Moyes. With George, Arobinam and Barry getting themselves ready. Not too much movement down on the Brentford dugout at the moment, heavily depleted. Lots of young players on the bench. Sharda now carries the ball to the left edge of the box, laid off towards Lewis Potter. Winding up from range, McNeil getting a big foot in front. As that one bounces out for a throw-in for Brentford. This one just over midway inside of the Everton half on this near side. Lewis Potter leaving it for Coyote. As Coyote looks to utilise that long throw, that dangerous threat that he has with the throw. Can they find themselves a way to get back in front from this throw-in into the final 20 minutes here? Brentford 1, Everton 1. Little bit of movement in the box. Coyote now stepping up with the long throw in towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Headed across, not dealt with. Jensen into the air, into the box. Headed by Tarkowski. Brentford keeping the ball alive. Dropping, but swiped away by Gardner. Clearing the ball first time out. And Utara will let that one roll out for yet another throw-in opportunity for Coyote. This one now on the further channel. Still waiting for the Everton players to make their way up onto the touchline. George, Irobinam and Barry ready to come on in place of we shall soon find out for. But they have to deal with this throw-in first of all. The threat of Coyote's long throw, drying the ball off with the towel nearest to him. As Coyote now launches a long throw into the penalty area. Headed away there by Beto, only as far as Nelson. Laid off to the left edge of the area to Tara. Jinking away from Gay, ball in towards the box. Pickford, hands high in the air, clutching the ball out of the air. As Pickford now left-footed, sends a long ball up for Dewsbury Hall to chase, and that's been touched on. Dewsbury Hall, one-on-one. Dewsbury Hall turning away and can't quite find the time to get the shot away. Numbers coming back for Brentford in support, but still they come. And Dye keeping the ball alive, left edge of the penalty area. Wonderful chance for Dewsbury Hall, denied by the big body of Kelleher. Gay has the ball now laid off. A glorious chance, that one, for Everton to catch them on the break. A bit of fortune as well going their way, but Dewsbury Hall couldn't capitalise. McNeil with the shot, low into the area, but swiped away. And now it's Brentford turn to do a little bit of defensive work. Everton asking a few questions. Dewsbury Hall, head in hand, wondering how on earth he hasn't found the opportunity to at least have a go. He turned away from Kelleher. When he drove in towards the box, he sort of turned on himself. He could sense Nelson and Jensen coming back, but he just didn't have the opportunity in himself to just have a go. I'm so surprised. I thought he was going to have a chip from a little further out. Kelleher was coming off of his line, but Dewsbury Hall just couldn't find the time to get the ball out from underneath himself. And a glorious chance goes begging for Everton to find the lead for the first time this afternoon. And while they were looking anyway at potential of a hand ball on Jensen. It was his hand that actually played the ball on towards Dewsbury Hall. Perfectly laid off and waited. But the big signing for them in the summer, with 6 goals to his name, just couldn't find the composure, as we now will see those changes being made. And Beto, the goal scorer, well, he is coming off, gave Everton the leveller on the 26th minute. He's being replaced by Barry, so Barry is coming on in place of Beto, the goal scorer. Tyreek George and Arobinam also on, as Gay and McNeil are the other 2 players making their way off this afternoon. Tyreek George, the man on loan from Chelsea, and I'm sure that he would love to do something to a rival of his that I'm sure he's had a couple of clashes with over the years in Chelsea blue. So Gay, Beto, McNeil off for Barry, George and Arobinam. Arobinam's had a great season in particular, a real standout year for him since his arrival last year from Aston Villa. An excellent signing, one that many think could have a potential England future ahead of him if he can get a little bit more game time under his belt at Everton. So 3 changes made now for the Toffees, just the one made at half-time for Brentford. Into the final 15 minutes here, Brentford 1, Everton 1. Brentford with a number of youth team players on the bench. Notable options would be way of maybe Ramel Donovan. He seems to be the most likely of the players on the bench if you're going to bring in any attacking impetus alongside Reece Nelson. Ethan Pinnock, another experienced player on the bench, but that is basically it. Lots of youth to potentially explore, throwing into the action here this afternoon for Keith Andrews. Brentford now with the ball, midway inside the Everton half, up that right-hand side. There's Vandenberg, ball on feet. Your feet on ball, sorry, just waiting to see what he's going to find. Short passes between themselves at the moment. No real movement again, similar to the first half at this stage for Brentford. It was all very static. Lively start to the half, static now as Cody, wonderful driven run into the box, outside of the foot, and Brentford have the lead. They're back in front, and it is Coyote with a delightful ball and a run into the penalty area. A shot that Thiago is claiming for himself. We'll have to see which way this one goes. It's either going to go to Coyote or Thiago. If it goes the way of Thiago, he has now established himself as the top scorer for Brentford in the Premier League on 21 goals. But the main statistic anyone cares about here is Brentford 2, Everton 1 on the 77th minute. The Brentford players huddling together right in the left-hand corner of the G-Tech Community Stadium in front of their fans. And Brentford, who had seemed to have gone off the boil in the last 5 or so minutes, turn on with an amazing, wonderful run from Coyote from the left-hand channel into the box. And outside of the foot, catching a deflection off of Thiago. Well, we'll have to see which way the dubious goal panel goes with this one. Coyote would love to have claimed it all for himself, but it does take a notable deflection off of the right thigh of Thiago, sending Pickford the other way. And the score here is Brentford 2, Everton 1. Brentford regaining the lead on the 77th minute. Excellent play, and it is going to be given to Thiago, we believe, as well here. Thiago now with 21 goals to his name, just 1 goal behind Erling Haaland in the top scorers stats. Haaland with that hat-trick against Liverpool in the FA Cup quarter-final last week. They think he might be finding his goal-scoring form once more. But Igor Thiago maintains his fantastic goal-scoring record this season. Second of the game, 21st hat-trick against Everton as well earlier on in the season, but that's a ball into the box over the head of Barry, and they can't deal with it at all. Brentford scrambling to get the ball away, and Kelleher sticks a long leg out only as far as Ndai. Calamitous nearly at the back there for Brentford after regaining the lead, as Everton win themselves a throw-in level with the 18-yard area on this near side. A real switch-off moment, that for Brentford at the back. Over the heads of everyone. Collins left it with Kelleher. They both went to kick the ball, but instead elected to leave it. Unbelievable decision-making. And fortunately enough for them, the ball was near enough to Kelleher to swipe away. O'Brien thrown in towards the box. Can Everton find an immediate response yet again? O'Brien again, deflection away from Utara. As Yarmuluk swipes a high ball into the air, going out for yet another Everton throw-in on this near side, midway into the Brentford half that's taken quickly. Garner, right, cross-footed ball to the left edge of the penalty area. As George keeps the ball alive from going out to play, shielded by Coyote, carrying the ball up, sending Coyote onto the deck. George laid up to Dewsbury Hall in the box, played back to George, but just over the way as Thiago now looks to break away himself. Poor pass though, Garner picking up on the loose ball. Everton still, they look to come, left edge of the area. George, cute flick back to find Dewsbury Hall. Everton immediately turning on the screw here, but that ball far too wayward, looking for Dewsbury Hall, and that goes out for a goal kick for Brentford, nearing the 10 minutes to go mark, 80th minute being reached. Brentford 2, Everton 1. With Coyote just down holding his ankle at the moment, falling underfoot from the cute Cruyff turn from Tyreek George. A good response this from Everton in terms of looking to get themselves back into this game. But it is Brentford who find themselves in front, and with that now moving up to 6th place in the table ahead of Chelsea, who they themselves play tomorrow against Manchester City. Well, if Liverpool were to get a thumping this afternoon by Fulham and Brentford were to get another, they could then even leap into 5th given goal difference. That really would be quite something if that was going to happen. But that's a long ball played up now towards Barry, left edge of the penalty area, shielded back towards George. George with the shot, and wide, always sailing wide, that from Tyreek George. Snapshot with the right foot. But going well wide, Barry just teeing that one up for him nicely. One touch to set himself up, but it was always swerving wide of Kelleher's goal. Still not too much movement down on the technical area for Brentford at the moment. Keith Andrews seemingly pleased with what he's seeing. This is maybe the 11 to get the job done. A vital victory this one would be as well for Brentford. It would really stabilise their place in those European places, going into that big game against Fulham next week here at the GTEC Community Stadium, the West London derby. And Everton then, they would have it still all to do with their game against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby, their first at Hill Dickinson. As Everton try and keep the ball alive. High loop ball midway in towards the Brentford half. Barry fouling underfoot there. Free kick for Brentford midway inside their own half. Barry just leaving far too much of that in the Brentford midfielder. It's going to be a free kick for the Bees midway inside of their own half. It's still Burnley 0, Brighton 1. The die very much cast for Wolves and now seemingly cast for Burnley. They had a goal disallowed on the 7th minute, Burnley, before Brighton found the lead late in the first half. Vifer on the 43rd minute. Bournemouth 2-1 winners at the Emirates earlier on in the early kickoff, really intensifying the stakes for the title race. And then West Ham 4-0 winners last night at the London Stadium in their pursuit for survival, dropping Tottenham Hotspur into the drop zone, who they themselves have a tricky trip to the Stadium of Light, Jordan Pickford's former stomping ground. So much to play for in the business end. Nothing settled as of yet. Arsenal with a 9-point gap, but City with 2 in hand, and that massive game against Arsenal next weekend at the Etihad. This is a league that you need to keep your eyes on at all times, as Robenham builds the ball midway into the Brentford half. Short laid up towards O'Brien, dinking the ball up the right channel. Robenham keeping the ball alive in towards the box, but Lewis Potter swiping the ball away and out for a throw-in for Brentford, 10 yards inside of the Brentford half on this near side. Thrown quickly by O'Brien to Garner, back towards Tarkowski, and switching into the centre circle now with Branthwaite. Brentford players seemingly dropping a little bit deeper, looking to hold on to this lead that they now have. Tarkowski midway into the Brentford half, laid off to Ndai, right edge of the area, into the box. Not dealt with there, but now cleared away by Lewis Potter. Swiping first time, Thiago looking to put the chase and the pressure under. Big towering figure of Thiago as well, but marshalled beautifully by Garner, getting his body in the way of the big Brazilian as it goes out for a throw-in taken quickly for Everton. As Branthwaite now carries that ball up towards the halfway line. Nearing the 85th minute of the game here. Brentford 2, Everton 1. Brentford regaining the lead on the 77th minute. A little bit of fortune with the ball grazing the right thigh of Thiago from the initial effort from Coyote. Thiago with his second of the game, as well as Brentford's, and his 21st of the campaign. 5 of those 21 coming against Everton this season as well. Securing a hat-trick in that 4-2 win at Hill Dickinson. And with 2 goals to his name here at the GTEC Community Stadium. And still with plenty of time for him to flirt with back-to-back hat-tricks against the same opposition in a single season. Everton now looking to come with Tyreek George, breaking in towards the left edge of the box, low into the area. Barry can't quite get there. Good interception there by Yarmulke ahead of Robenham. As now Brentford look to break away with Coyote. His run initially leading to the second goal, but a heavy touch onward, easily dealt with by the Everton players, who are now surrounding and swarming up in bright blue. Tyreek George now carrying the ball to the left edge of the box, cutting away from Coyote, still with the ball at feet, twisting and turning. Chipped towards the back post, Ndai headed back into the box. Brentford tried to deal with it. Sepp van den Berg heads behind, and it's going to be a corner for Everton to be taken right in front of their travelling support. 174 miles as the crow flies, those fans have come from Liverpool this afternoon, and what they would give for something to take back and to keep themselves firmly in the sights of European football next season. This is going to be a right-footed ball by Garner, swung in towards the penalty area. The ever-present Garner, the England international, right-footed to the near post. Across, headed away from the other side of the box there by Collins. Foot race between Shardaren and Dye, and Dye comes out on top, shielding the ball into the corner flag on this near side. Stepping over, trying to twist away from the German. With the right-footed ball back towards Dewsbury Hall. Ball into the penalty area, headed away by the Brentford players nearest to. Nelson turning on a dime, laying the ball up towards Utara, but a wonderful interception from Mikalenko as Everton now in full fight and scrap mode to try and get themselves back into this game. Pickford, long ball played up, headed onwards for George to chase, but far too easy to deal with there, going straight towards Kelleher, who picks that ball up with ease. We are just minutes away from seeing how much time is going to be added by the fourth official, Andy Madley, at the end of this first half. 5 minutes at this second half, 5 minutes at the end of the first. Not as much incident in the second, as Lewis Potter carries the ball brilliantly away from O'Brien up this left-hand side. O'Brien scrapping back to get there, working hard, the two coming together once more as they did for the Everton leveller. And that one shielded out, and it's going to go up for an Everton throw-in. O'Brien and Lewis Potter coming together one-on-one. Referee having to come over and have a word with the two of them, moving them away. This is going to be an Everton throw-in deep in their own half on this near side. O'Brien's trying to steal a couple more yards. Farai Halam pushing him further back. O'Brien sending a long throw up the right-hand touchline, straight towards Brentford shirts. Collins pumping the ball up into the air as Tarkowski heads the ball back towards the halfway line. Irobenham chipped up. Good interception there though from Utara, as Irobenham tries to get himself back onto the ball. Excellent work rate this from Everton now. Irobenham carries the ball with a pass across the centre circle to Dewsbury Hall. Further out to the left towards George. Cutting in towards the left edge of the box, towards the byline. Turning in the area. George with the shot and a good save. A real palm stinger. And Kelleher palming the ball away and out for yet another corner. Tyreek George is seemingly up for this. Good start and spark from him since coming on. Twisting and turning away, a venomous effort to the near post, but Kelleher with a big hand palming for yet another corner for Everton, as Brighton have extended their lead to 2 up at Turf Moor late on in that game. But it's going to be Garner to take this right-footed swung into the goal towards the further post. Kelleher with a palm away. Nelson head down in the box, carrying the ball out from danger. And is there a chance for the Bees to break away? Nelson jinking away with a switch, crossfield ball up towards Thiago, catching in the air as it drops to Mikalenko, who guides a pass upwards, but poorly dealt with, easily given away. Sharda now, ball up, but wonderful slide inside. Everton players scrambling back to do their all to stop any form of a break. End-to-end stuff here in the final few minutes of the 90 at the G-Tech. Brentford 2, Everton 1. Thiago with both the goals for the Bees, establishing himself as the top scorer for Brentford in a top-flight campaign. One ahead now of both Tony and Mbumo. Beto with a goal on the 26th minute, drawing them level. But the goal on the 77th with a little stroke of fortune, just guiding off of the right thigh, going the other side of where Pickford was diving. That one so far the real difference maker. As Brantwaite is just down now, holding his face at the moment. Vifers 2 goals for Brighton this afternoon as well. That one sealing the deal for them, keeping them firmly in the hot prospect for European football themselves. That's actually dropped Brighton above Everton and now into 9th. So Brighton level on points with Everton, but a better goal difference, pushing Everton into 9th, Brighton into 8th, Chelsea into 7th, Brentford into 6th. And now a chance for another long throw in here from Coyote on the right hand side, level with the 18-yard area. Coyote swung. Poor though, not beating the nearest man to it as it's cleared away. All eyes in the next 20 seconds turning to Andy Madley and the fourth official. See how much time is going to be added at the end of this game. Brentford with the ball in the centre of the park, played out to the right, not quite guided. And is there a chance now for Everton to try and break away themselves? Irobenham carrying the ball midway into the Brentford half, still with the ball at feet, but marshalled beautifully by Jensen, deflected out straight towards Mikalenko, laid off towards George. Everton with the ball 10 yards from the left edge of the penalty area. George trying to weigh up space. 3 minutes of time to be added on here, so 3 minutes minimum to be added by the referee. Do Everton have something at the end here to find a leveller? It's Ndiaye in the box, laid off, low, shot towards Ndiaye, and there's the leveller right at the end of this game, and it's Dewsbury Hall wheeling away in celebration towards the wild seeds in the corner of the field here for the Everton supporters. And Everton, on the first minute of minimum added 3, have found themselves a leveller yet again here at the G-Tech as the rain starts to pour down here in West London. Still bright skies, but that rainbow at the moment is guiding Everton towards grabbing something in this game. They have been putting so much pressure on Brentford's goal since going behind yet again. And finally, the pressure counts. O'Brien with the initial shot that deflected off of the foot of Collins and straight to the path of Dewsbury Hall, who first time with the left foot off the edge of the 6-yard area, tucked the ball beyond Kelleher and into the back of the Brentford net. Brentford 2, Everton 2, Dewsbury Hall with his 7th goal of the campaign, now making him the top scorer joint with Beto for the Bees, for Everton this season. David Moyes now not sitting down anymore. He is right on the edge of the touchline, watching this one to the bitter end as Jensen does a cross-field ball towards the right edge of the penalty area. Utara keeps the ball alive just about, cutting in towards Mikalenko. Laid off instead towards Coyote. First time right-footed loop ball into the penalty area. Thiago can't quite get there as Everton try and shield the ball and clear away up this near side. As Collins comes charging back to get there ahead of Barry. Barry charging at Kelleher with the ball played back into the final minute of the minimum 3. I'm sure we're going to see at least another 40 or so seconds given the celebrations that followed for Everton. Brentford now playing the ball around inside themselves. Everton pushing everyone upfield. They can sense a winner as Dewsbury Hall has the ball, but it's a foul given away. Dewsbury Hall far too aggressive through the back as we are now 30 seconds from the 3rd minute being hit. Brentford send a long ball up to Lewis Potter, left edge of the area, cutting into the box, jinking away from O'Brien. Lewis Potter still chipped to the back post, over everyone else. Heavy touch off of the chest of Utara, and that one goes up for a goal kick for Everton. Sharda nearest to it as well. Hands in head time for Brentford, so close to snatching the lead yet again at the death. But Lewis Potter composed into the box, just over the head of Sharda. And Utara's chest onto it, probably not expecting it either, not able to guide the ball down, as all eyes now turn to the referee Farai Halam. The 3 minutes have been hit. Is there going to be one last chance for either of these two sides to claim 3 points this afternoon here at the G-Tech Community Stadium? The sun still shining brightly, the rain moving away. As we are now at 93.5 minutes played, Brentford's in a long ball up the left-hand touchline, straight out for an Everton throw-in. Surely that's going to be the last of the action. And there does go the referee